Here are the video solutions for Pearson Edexcel Functional Skills Maths Level 1. This is section A, which is the non-calculator section from past paper 6. Okay, so Kate uses a machine to make toys. She makes 800 toys in an hour and she makes toys for 6 hours each day. So in a day, she's going to make 800 multiplied by 6. 6 times 8 is 48. And then just put those zeros back in. So that is 4,800 toys per day. And she checks 5%. So what is 5% of 4,800? Let's work out 10%. 10% of 4,800 is 480. Remember, 10% is 1/10. So just divide this number by 10. In other words, chop off a 0. So if 10% is 480, 5%, well, that is half of 10%. So we need half of 480. 480 divided by 2 is 240. So the answer is 240 toys. Question number 2, write 0.3 as a fraction. Well, remember, when you've got one decimal place, we're talking tenths. So that is 3/10, 3/10. Part B, 1.6 times by 1,000. So remember, when you're multiplying by 1,000, you're moving the decimal point 3 positions. Now, and because we are multiplying by 1,000, we're making the number bigger, so we're moving the decimal point to the right. Now, it's difficult to know where the decimal point is going to end up unless we put some zeros on the end. So this is certainly a ridiculous number of zeros, but 1, 2, 3, so it will move from there to there, so that'll be 1600.0000000. As I said, I put in far too many zeros, and hopefully you can appreciate that that is simply 1600. Okay, write 19.075 correct to one decimal place. That means we're interested in the second decimal place. The third decimal place is completely irrelevant. And if this number here is 5 or greater, then we're going to move the column to the left up by 1, or 7 is greater than 5, so the 0 will become a 1, so 19.1. Okay, so 3A, this is testing our understanding of BIDMAS. So B for brackets, so do the brackets first. 17 minus 3 is 14, so 14/2 plus 4 squared, so we've done the B. I for indices, that is the powers. So 4 squared, that is 4 times by 4, which is 16. So we've now got 14/2 plus 16. So this line of a fraction means divide, so we're going to do the division before we do the adding. 14 divided by 2 is 7. So the question is 7 plus 16, and 7 plus 16 is 23. Use a reverse calculation to show a check of your answer. Bit of an unusual question because all we're checking is some simple adding. So 7 plus 16 is 23. So let's just do 23 take away 16. Do we get 7? Yes, we do. 23 take away 7. Do we get 16? Yes, we do. So we know that the original calculation was correct. Okay, so what we want to do here is work out the area of this section here. So what I would say is the area of I assume this is a garden, so area of the whole garden minus the area of the patio. So the area of the big rectangle minus the area of the little rectangle, the shaded rectangle. So the whole garden is 9 by 7, so 9 times by 7, which is 63. Take away the area of the patio. Now, we don't know the dimensions of the patio, but we know that this side length is 9, and if this is 3, then this must be 6. Similarly, if this is 5 and this is 7, then this must be 2. So that's a 6 times by 2, which is 12. So the area of the grass is 63, take away 12, and 63 take away 12 is 51, so 51 square meters, and that is the end of section A. Here are the video solutions for Pearson Edexcel Functional Skills Maths Level 1. This is section B, which is the calculator section from past paper 6. So question number 1, Alan takes part in a health study. He records the time he spends looking at different screens on Monday, and he thinks he spent more than 10 hours, so is he correct? So we just need to add these up. Now, these times have been presented in different ways. 5.5 hours, we need to remember that this is not 5 hours 5 minutes or 5 hours 50 minutes. 0.5 is a half, so that is 5 hours and 30 minutes. We've also got 40 minutes for the mobile phone, and 3 3/4 hours, well, 3/4 of an hour is 45 minutes. So in total, we have 8 hours, 45 plus, actually let's just use a column, so that is 5, 4 plus 4 is 8, 9, 10, 11. Now, let's turn the 115 minutes, well, we know that that is more than an hour. So if 1 hour is of course 60 minutes, 2 hours is 120 minutes. So this is 5 minutes less than 2 hours, so that is 1 hour 55. So we've got 8 hours plus 1 hour 55, so 9 hours 55. And what was Alan's question? He thinks he spends more than 10 hours. Is Alan correct? Well, no, because he spends 9 hours 55 minutes looking at screens, which is 5 minutes less than 10 hours. So for this question, it's very difficult for me to demonstrate here, but you need to measure this, this angle here because we're interested in the fish, and the fish is the white part. And if you measure this, then you should see that that is 120 degrees. Now, 120 degrees is exactly 1/3 of the full 360 degrees. And if you're not sure whether that is a third or not, then it's 120 out of 360. And that will, if you type that into your calculator, 120 divided by 360, remembering that this line of a fraction means divide, that is 0.3 recurring, which is 1/3. Okay, so 1/3 is fish, and this, the whole pie represents 180 students, so we want to work out 1/3 of 180, and the calculation is 180 divided by 3, which is of course 60 students. Okay, question number 3. So first of all, I'm going to work out the perimeter, which is 45 plus 40 plus another 45 plus 40. I'll worry about the gap for the gate in a minute. So that is 90 plus 80, so that is 170 meters. Now the gap for the gate is 260 centimeters, so if I divide that by 100, that is 2.6 meters. So I need to subtract 2.6 from 170, and 170 take away 2.6 is 167.4 meters. Now a fence panel is 1.8 meters long, so how many 1.8s go into 167.4? Well, the answer is, what is 167.4 divided by 1.8? And that comes to 93. So 93 panels are needed. Okay, question number 4. So we just need to put this on the grid, so we can see we've got 25 up the side, so this is going to be the number of books sold. So if each half square is 25, then that is going to be 50, 75, 100, 125, 150, 175, 200. That's, we don't need to go any higher than that, but we can if we want to. So I'll put a title, number of books sold. It's not in thousands or anything, nope. Okay, so along the bottom I'm going to put week number. So this will be week 1, this will be week 2, this will be week 3, and this will be week 4. So I've decided that for each bar it's going to be half of one of these big squares with a gap of the same amount in between each. So week 1 we go up to 175, so up to here. So ideally you're using a pencil and a ruler here, and you can shade it in if you want, you don't have to. Week 2 is 120, which is one square below 125 because we're going up in 5s. Again, a lot neater if you're using a ruler. So that is week 2. Week number 3 is 215. Oh, we do need to go beyond 200, actually says 250. So 200, 205, hang on, sorry, that's not 250, that is 225. I thought that didn't quite work out. 200, 205, 210, 215. So it's 2 below the 225. So up to there. Okay, that is week 3 done. And week 4 is 150. Well, that's nice and easy. That takes us up to there. And that is all that we need to do for this question. So let's move on to the next one. Okay, Joe sells cars. He sold 840 last year. 720 were petrol. All the other cars he sold were electric. So at this point, I'm thinking, well, how many electric cars did he sell? So electric is going to be 840, take away 720, which is 120. Okay, so we know that petrol was 720, electric was 120, and he says he sold 6 times as many petrol cars as electric cars last year. Well, what is 6 times 120? 6 times 120 is 720, and he sold 720 petrol cars. So, is the statement correct? Yes, it is. Okay, question number 6. So, the first thing we need to do is to increase the price of a haircut by 25%. 25% is a quarter. 1 quarter of £8, well, that is 8 divided by 4, which is 2. So it's an increase of £2. So the haircut has gone from £8 up to £10. Now we need to work out the mean daily number of customers. So it's going to be the total number of customers divided by the number of days, which is 7. So that is 58 plus 64 plus 49 plus 73 plus 89 plus 96 plus 103. And what does all that come to? That comes to 532. So that is the total 532, and we're dividing that by 7. 532 divided by 7 comes to 76. So the mean number of haircuts is 76, and if they're now £10 each, it's going to be 76 multiplied by 10, and that is £760. Raphael thinks his mean daily income next week will be more than 750. Is he correct? Yes, it will be 760, which is greater than 750. So here we can just put yes. Okay, for question 7, we want to calculate the volume. So the volume is going to be the 3 dimensions multiplied together. So 8 times by 8 times by 17, and 8 times 8 times 17 is 1088. Now, when we're talking about a length, the unit is centimetres. For an area, when we're doing centimetres times centimetres, that's going to be centimetres squared. Therefore, volume, where it's centimetres times centimetres times centimetres, it is centimetres cubed. So that is our unit, 1088 cubic centimetres. Okay, so for this question, Andrew works at Town Hall. We know that the population is 470,015. Let's write that correctly. So remember, 1,000 is a comma, so 470, comma, and 15, 015. So we need to multiply this by 0.6 as per this formula here, and 470,015 times 0.6 is 282,009. And it does make sense, even though we're multiplying, it does make sense that we should get a smaller number, because the number of people with a full-time job can't be more than the number of people that are living in the town. When we multiply by a number that is less than 1, we end up with a lower number. So Andrew thinks this is the number of people in the town that have a full-time job. Well, this is the actual number using the formula. So Andrew, is she correct? The answer is no. Okay, so let's take a look at question number 9. So the first thing I'm going to do is just take a look at the scale. So we know that 1 square is 0.25 meters, so therefore 2 squares is 0.5, and most importantly of all, 4 squares is 1 meter. So 1, 2, 3, 4 squares, that would be 1 meter. Okay, so if 1 meter is 4 squares, let's just translate all these measurements into numbers of squares. So 1 meter, that is 4 squares. 1.75, that is 1 3/4. So that is 4 plus 3/4 of 4, which is 3. So that is 7 times by 4. Or you could just go 0.25, 0.5, 0.75, 1, 1.25, 1.5, 1.75. So that's 1.75. So that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 squares. And the sink is 0.5 by 0.5. So that is going to be 2 by 2 squares. Now the bath is a rectangular space, and it's to be against the back wall. So 7 by 4 against the back wall, but an equal space from the side walls. Now, if I go for 4 and 7, it's impossible to get this equidistant or in the middle, because there's an odd number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 squares. However, if I put my 7 along this side, then I can make sure there's an equal gap in between. So if there's 11 squares, if I take away the 7, then I've got 4. So if I divide that by 2, I've got a gap of 2 either side. There we go. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So there's my bath, 7 by 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so here is my bath. And the sink needs to be against the side wall. And the sink is a 2 by 2. And it's got to be at least a metre away from the bath. So we said 1 metre was 4 squares. So it's got to be 4 squares away from the bath. So just make a note of that, 4 squares away. And 4 squares away from the doorway. So the safest place would be up here. So 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 squares, and the sink was, we said was 2 by 2. Perfect. So I can just stick the sink in the corner, 2 by 2. There is my sink. It's 2 by 2. It's against the side wall. It's at least a metre away from, it's miles away from the bath, and it's quite far away from the doorway as well. So that is perfect. Could move it down one, could move it across a little bit as well. Plenty of options, as there's plenty of space available. Possibility perhaps it might even fit down here, I'm not really sure, but anyway, that top left corner to me seems the most obvious. Okay, so here we need to work out the range. So the range is the biggest value take away the smallest value. So what is the biggest? Well, the biggest has to be one of the positive numbers. Is anything bigger than 63.1? No, it is not. And we're subtracting the smallest, so the smallest number is the most negative number, and the most negative number is 42.4. Well, it's minus 42.4. So we do need to put 2 minuses. And remember that a minus immediately followed by a minus is the same as a plus. So the range is 63.1 plus 42.4, and that is a range of 105.5. Part B, show a check of your answer. Okay, well, if we've just done 63.1 plus 42.4 equals 105.5, then the check would be 105.5 take away 42.4. Does that equal 63.1? Yes, it does. Or we could do 105.5 minus 63.1. Does that equal 42.4? Yes, it does. So we know we've got the original calculation correct. Okay, so for this question, the first thing I'm going to do is take 1/5 off the price. So what is 1/5 of £3.55? Well, that is £3.55 divided by 5, and that is a discount of £0 and 71. So 71p discount. So the new price is going to be £3.55 take away £0.71, and that is £2.84. Now the plates are in packs of 6, and Charlie needs 90. So how many 6s go into 90? Well, the question we need to ask is, what is 90 divided by 6? 90 divided by 6 is 15, so that's 15 packs of plates at £2.84 each. So it's 15 lots of £2.84, and that comes to £42.60. Does Charlie have enough money? How much does she have? She has 45, so the answer is yes, she does. She's well under budget. And that is the end of section B.